It is Mariners opening day, and as much as we've all been looking forward to it, our hearts here at King 5 are a little heavy today because we lost a colleague and friend this week who would have been absolutely instrumental in today's coverage. Alan Reed, our sports photographer, passed away this week unexpectedly. Alan loved sports like you wouldn't believe. He was the one on the sidelines gathering the video, covering sports news conferences, and shooting interviews of our favorite athletes. Alan covered every major sporting event and story in Seattle for 2 decades. And we've been hearing from folks all across the Seattle sports community, including the Mariners, the Seahawks, Tyler Lockett, Isaiah Thomas, Sounders head coach Brian Schmetzer, and this is what they had to say.
First of all, the hearts and prayers and all those thoughts go out to the family, number one. Number two, I loved Alan. He was always good to Sounders, good to me. I loved bantering with him. He was a good guy. And they beat some health problems from a few years ago, so we thought we'd get a little bit more of them, more time with them. So certainly a sad day.
Thanks to him for those beautiful words, and our hearts do go out to Alan's family and his work family, the King 5 sports team. All right, well, now I'm off to talk more sports with my next guest. Very important because it is Mariners opening day, and Virginia Mason Franciscan Health celebrates runs for research. So for every run the Mariners score this season, VMFH will donate to the Center for Neurosciences and Spine at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, which benefits patient support services and research as well. 2 of their spine surgeons, Dr. Philip Louie and Dr. Venu Nemani, are joining me now. Thank you both for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
So I have to say that this is something that I think a lot of people are starting to think more and more about when it comes to sports is the health that surrounds it, spine health, brain health. What is this partnership with Virginia Mason Franciscan Health all about with the Mariners, and why is it so important?
We're really excited to partner with the Mariners on this, and what it really is meant to do is Runs for Research is meant to allow us to bring more awareness to spine health and to also allow our community to understand how important it is to support the neurosciences and spine. And this partnership with the Mariners just allows us to bring more attention to that research and provides funds for us to carry out our mission in terms of improving spine health for everyone.
Yeah. One more question for you. As we enter the sports season, let's talk about why spine health is so important in various sports, including baseball, which we're seeing a lot of kids playing right now, tennis, golf, lacrosse, soccer, track, everything. Why is it so important that we pay attention?
Well, the spine is really the center of your core, if you think about it, right? And so without a strong spine, you can't actually transmit energy to your arms and legs, which power you to run, which power you to twist, which power you to throw.
Yeah.
And so having a good, strong core and a good, strong spine is just so critical for essentially any type of activity that we do, whether it's sports or even just regular activities around the house. So it's really, really important to have a nice, strong spine.
Like as you're talking, I was sitting up straight. I'm like, engage your core, keep that spine safe.
Exactly.
Dr. Louie, why is it so important for surgeons to engage in research, and how does it guide you when treating your patients?
So we think about sort of research in general, right? You think about change, and change is not only inevitable, it's necessary, right? We're not driving horse and buggies anymore. We've got these nice fancy cars. Right. And in the same ways in medicine, right? We don't want to practice medicine the same way year after year, right? We want to be doing different things now than we did 5 or 10 years ago, and research allows us to continue to grow, improve what we're doing, and sort of care for our patients in sort of the newest ways.
We're talking, faster recovery, right? Fewer pain meds, getting back to playing and activities, right? Yeah,
so in our spine world, that's what we're focusing on, right? Those are exactly areas that interest us and are really important, right? Oftentimes when patients present with spine problems, it's preventing them from doing something they enjoy. So a big area of our research is, well, how do we get patients back to those activities? And how do we get them back safely and faster just so they can go back to their lives?
Yeah, it's so cool. And there's new surgical techniques, I hear?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think about spine surgery and they think about these big whacks. It's very scary. There's some horror stories, but we can do surgeries now. We call it ultra minimally invasive, or it's these tiny incisions, go home the same day, back to their activities really fast. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had a very dear friend had double spine surgery, L4, L5, and they were in the hospital for a week.
Oh my gosh, no, yeah.
That's amazing. That was also some years ago. So I'm glad to know that this research is happening. We need to keep supporting it. So, Dr. Nemani, why what back pain symptoms should someone pay attention to when it comes to, I don't know, contacting their doctor, finally going in?
Yeah, so the good news is that most back pain, which almost everyone will have at some point in their lives, is relatively not scary back pain, meaning you'll have it, it'll go away in a day or two with anti-inflammatories and some rest and changing your activities. The kind of back pain that's scary is something that's worsening over time and not getting better over the course of a week or two.
Okay.
Or if you have any symptoms going down your legs, things like pain, numbness, tingling, or weakness. And those symptoms, when you have symptoms traveling down the leg, are concerning for neurologic involvement. And so that's when you should certainly contact your doctor.
Because it's involving like the nerves and
Exactly.
and that can be damaging for life, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Is it important to get in sooner than later so that
I think so. Anytime things are worsening, if you have even a couple of days of especially if you have pain traveling down your legs, I think it's really important, If it's back pain and it's worsening over the span of a week, I think it's really important to get in because I think early treatment is generally going to be beneficial.
I feel like there might be people out there right now watching and going, they're talking to me, and it can be scary, right? But I know it's minimally invasive. Is it always surgery? Are there other things?
So the good news is that the vast majority of back problems do not need surgery.
Oh, good.
And so 95% or greater of spine problems that people experience do not need any sort of operation. And so you do not need people like us.
Well, we want people like you, but we're glad to know it's not always that.
But for the times when it is a problem that needs surgery, thankfully we have these ultra minimally invasive techniques and other modalities to help people get back to doing what they love.
I love it. I injured my back a little while ago doing yoga. And then I had to do the high jump that same day. So obviously I was doing something wrong. So what can we do to keep our spine health in good health?
Yeah, I think there's two major areas, and it's stretching and core work. When we're younger, we can get away with a lot, right?
Yep.
You wake up in the morning, you go out and play. As we get a little older, it's not that easy. The stretching becomes just as important as the activity itself.
Yeah.
And then like Dr. Nemani talked about earlier, your core, right? That's the major stabilizer. So keeping your core strong, and that's just not a six-pack or abs, but also sort of all these muscles sort of in the back as well. And if you can maintain that stability, it takes some of the pressure off your back and hopefully allows you to go and enjoy those activities.
Yeah, it's the core is not just for bikinis anymore at this age. It's for keeping your spine in check. Thank you both so much for taking the time to be here. I know you're very busy, but I'm so grateful for everything that you've shared and everything that you do for your patients every day. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, to learn more about what we discussed today, please visit the website on your screen, vmfh.org/Mariners.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Virginia Mason Franciscan Health.